Welcome back. Let's swiftly move to Kogi State in Nigeria's north-central region, where the political war looks abating, with the governor of the state, Mr. Yahaya Bello, convening a reconciliation meeting with the lawmakers from the two factions. One could see Honorable Momo Jimo Lawal and Honorable Imam, all of them converging with their members. Here you can see them laughing and chatting well. The meeting wasn't really divulged the details really, but our correspondent on the ground tells us the reconciliation efforts may have come as an initiative of the governor to restoring peace in the state's politics. A lot of people believe that with a different mention in the matter, a political solution may be the best way to resolve the crises in the party and, of course, in the state. The solution may require that factions in the matter will have to make sacrifices. The sacrifices are what we do not know what has been eventually agreed upon. But, well, now the governor has just arrived. Let's listen to what he makes of the meeting afterwards.
So far, it has been a very wonderful one. Like I said earlier, that Kogi State is not in crisis. And any house or in any home, there is bound to be misunderstanding. So the house members has a misunderstanding. As a family members who have they have come together, they have decided to shut their thoughts and then set aside their differences and then continue the business of legislation in Kogi State House of Assembly. So we have resolved that they are going to move on as one, as usual. So it's good.
All right, then the governor Yahaya Bello there talking about what he thinks or what he makes of the meeting and the reason why he called up that meeting. But after the meeting, the closed-door meeting, pictures were taken, but Honorable Jimo Lawal was clearly not there. Well, the governor speaks of the fact that he wants the matter to be resolved. But if the matter was resolved, is one thing on the other, on one hand, because we took one of the lawmakers, Matthew Kolawole, up after the meeting, and his thought about is that things may have not been concluded just yet, and we may have to wait, perhaps, to tomorrow or next to know where they stand in this reconciliation move being made right now. You remember what has happened in the history of this crisis of the party is the fact that there are two factions, one called the G15 faction and the other one, the G5 faction. Allegedly, the G5 faction is said to have impeached Honorable Lawal Jimo, Momo Jimo, whom was said to be the Speaker of the House. There you see him there, the man who was said to have been impeached by the group of 5. But at the end of the day, the National Assembly waited, and that's a picture taken there. But of course, Honorable Lawal Jimo was not there. Okay, that's him just walking past, and he walked past, okay, and he didn't take part in that taking a photograph after the event. But let's listen to Honorable Matthew Kolawole to hear his side. Okay, we get to hear what exactly his side and the faction of the Honorable Lawal Jimo makes of the reconciliation. Let's now go to the National Assembly, where yesterday members of the People's Democratic Party at the Senate threatened to stop all forms of cooperation with the APC-led government if the executive does not stop harassing its members across the country. Members of the PDP caucus condemned in totality the plot to remove the leadership of the Senate. Addressing reporters in Abuja, the head of the caucus, Senator Emmanuel Bocha, alleged that the present administration's anti-corruption war is lopsided.
As a caucus, we thus met and resolved as follows: that we, the caucus members, having deliberated on their stated issues and examined our position on unwarranted threat to the legislative arm of government, particularly to the Senate leadership by the executive arm, as well as the ongoing intimidation, persecution of the opposition party by the ruling APC. Arising from this position, the caucus passed the following resolutions. that we condemn in totality the orchestrated plot to remove the President of the Senate and his deputy through an illegal means, the deployment of state instrument of coercion to intimidate an independent arm of government like the legislature is now a major threat to the survival of our democracy. The glaring witch hunt of perceived opposition element in the polity is invitation to anarchy. The war against corruption should not be selective, must be fought with sincerity and not the politics that is now being played with the war against corruption. We therefore condemn in strong terms the sentiment displayed in fighting corruption. For instance, the freezing of the account of the Ekiti.
Senator Boucha, they're speaking for the PDP Senators Caucus. Well, let's now move the conversation forward. Today, the APC senators affirmed their support for the president, and clearly a decision that may have divided the senators along party lines. Well, let's take a deeper look at the value of the PDP support and what it means to the APC government led by President Muhammadu Buhari. Joining me is a former senator who knows too well the operations of the APC and who knows also too well how the Senate operates and when this kind of decision is made by a caucus of an opposition in the Senate. The interpretation of all this. Senator Olorunbe Mamora joins us now on the program. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
If an opposition party in the Senate withdraws support for a ruling government in power, what does that interpret?
Well, it's a function of the kind of strength that opposition party has in that legislative house. If the strength is substantial, then that may create a problem for the ruling party. But if the strength is weak, then it may be inconsequential.
In the history of the Nigerian Senate, since 1999, for example, we've not seen the population of the opposition party, one single party, as much as this. There are over 40 of them out of 109. That means it's substantial. Isn't that a threat for the ruling party?
So that is the more reason why everything must be done to really foster what you can call a unity within the legislative house. This time around within the Senate. Is it because there will be issues before the Senate that will require, bipartisanship in terms of cooperation to get things done. And not just to get things done, but to even get things done fast. Because there are things, may be bills, may even be certain motions, may even be policy situations that you want to, get things moving.
So, if, Senator Mamora, if we saw that kind of bickering or the kind of friction that we saw during the passage of the budgets, the padding, the differences we saw between the executive and the legislature, that was a moment when the PDP didn't say they withdrew their support. But if they say they are withdrawing their support at this time, isn't that going to be it's calling a tough time for the future of the relationship between those two arms of government?
That's exactly part of what I was trying to explain. That you cannot just wave it aside, with a hand and say, no, it doesn't matter. No, because we must always appreciate that the legislature is a political institution where you have interests. There's so many interests, that are contending for attention within the legislature. And the greater the unity you can maintain, the better for that legislative house and, of course, for the entire apparatus of government, of governance itself.
Okay, I was going to ask you, how bad it could be, or it could spell out, what kind of doom it could spell for the APC government. A lot of people have criticized President Buhari has not been political enough to handle the situation. He's not. A lot of people have said he's not been playing politics. That he needed to play more politics. Is it the time to rise up and play politics?
Well, I think the blame, as it were, should not be, placed on Mr. President.
Okay, just let me hold the thought, Senator Mamura, because we need to go on this break. And when we return, Senator Mamura will be talking to us more about what is it a doom that the PDP withdrawal of their support for Buhari is, or what exactly is the implication? How can they resolve this so-called friction? Join us again.